Atari Karts was released for the Atari Jaguar in December of 1995. The Atari Jaguar was discontinued 3 months later, making Atari Karts one of the final and rarer games released by Atari. As a kart game, it immediately fails on a couple of fronts. First, there is just a single Atari character featured in this game, Bentley Bear. Don't know who that is? He's from an old arcade game called Crystal Castles. The rest of the characters that are included range from generic to forgettable. After selecting said generic character, you're treated to some excellent graphics. Atari Karts shows the Jaguar has far more horsepower than the aging 16-bit systems of the day. If you look closely, you'll see the worlds are not flat. There are hills and valleys, which really makes Atari Karts feel like a 3D title. Whether it's your opponents or roadside obstacles, everything scales very smoothly. There are 4 layers in the background, 3 of which scroll, which add to the depth and richness of the environments. Atari Karts moves along at 60 frames per second without a hiccup. No slowdown, just buttery smooth goodness. My next praise is for the controls. The steering is surprisingly precise and responsive, allowing you to easily avoid roadside obstacles and quickly dispatch your opponents. If you turn too much too fast, your kart will slide. If you maintain a slide for too long, you'll spin out. The mechanics work out fairly well and you'll never spin out for no reason. Atari Karts starts off with 4 difficulty levels: Beginner Challenge, Warrior Challenge, Miracle Challenge, and Jaguar Aces. Beginner Challenge is the only level initially offered. Each difficulty has 3 sets of races to complete: the Borregas Cup, Carlton Cup, and Tempest Cup. After winning the 3 cups, a 4th challenge is presented, the Miracle Race, which is a single race against a boss. If you beat the boss, you get his cart, and the next difficulty level opens up. The difficulty in Atari Karts ramps up quite well. The Beginner Challenge is a breeze, and I finished first place throughout. The Warrior Challenge offers more aggressive opponents and trickier turns. The Miracle Challenge ramps things up with even more aggressive opponents, twisty circuits, and more hazards. Jaguar Aces is actually quite difficult, requiring perfect runs in order to finish. The tracks themselves are fairly short, with each 5-lap race taking between 1 minute and 2.5 minutes. They are logically laid out though, with a good variety of turns and straights. Atari Karts features a rather bland soundtrack. Each environment features its own musical track that helps match the theme, but none of it sounds better than what could have been done on lesser hardware. Many have complained about the lack of weapons and combat in Atari Karts. The game features 5 power-ups total. A rabbit gives a temporary speed boost, the speed arrow gives a burst of speed, the wheel, which reduces friction, and steer, which eliminates skidding. There are 2 hazards, a turtle that slows you down, and a reverse steer icon that reverses the steering controls. Unfortunately, all the items except the steer and wheel are activated as soon as you drive over them. It would have been nice to save the rabbit boost and use it on a straightaway or the final lap when you need it. While Atari Kart certainly doesn't feature the diverse selection of weapons and power-ups that Super Mario Kart has, I don't feel it ruins the game. Atari Karts puts a greater emphasis on racing than combat, and the racing is good. I do enjoy Atari Karts, but it's not perfect. The racers are fairly generic and forgettable. The races are far too short, with most laps taking as little as 14 seconds. What really keeps Atari Karts from being great are the damn reverse steering hazards. Because the icons are flat with the track, it can be hard to tell what you're about to drive over until it's too late. A reverse steer icon will pretty much ruin a race. This has got to be one of the most obnoxious things I've ever seen in a racing game. It's annoying and frustrating, and you can't turn it off. Overall, Atari Karts is a solid title. While it lacks some of the sophistication and charm of other games of its type, it's extremely playable and offers a good challenge. The graphics are sharp and smooth and shows off the Jaguar's 2D power well. It's certainly not $100 good, but I find Atari Karts to be a lot of fun.